The issue with marriage is it's not updated to 2024. It doesn't have adaptations and software update to match the fact that your beautiful wife that you just married, who's 22, also has a ton of fucking options on social media.
That a lifetime of monogamy has never been the natural state for humans. But you did say if you want monogamy to succeed, you have to work for it. So
nobody pays attention to that last line, Jessica. Everyone reads that line and says Michael Sartain hates monogamy. Everyone reads that quote. So the quote is the quote is monogamy is not the natural state for Homo sapiens, and there's no evidence to show.
And they just move on.
Yes, and then the second line is the Homo sapien experience has mostly been a lifetime of small periods of monogamy interspersed in a lifetime of polygamy. And I had Dr. Buss on my show and made that quote, and he totally agreed with it. And so my point in the end was, in order for you to make monogamy work, it takes work. The belief is I get married, and because we said certain words at our wedding, that person is always going to be faithful to me. No, you have to fucking stay in shape. She has to perceive at some point that you might be somewhat attractive to other women. She has to believe that. If she totally believes that you're just some fat loser who can't bring home the bacon and doesn't provide anything for his family, she is going to lose attraction for you. But that's not what it said. It said richer or poorer in sickness and his health. Sorry, 56% divorce rate. I win. Point me. That's just the reality of the situation. There's no such thing. Love is conditional, guys. I'm sorry. The only love that's
the choice. I'm aware that love fades. Love fades.
Sure.
It's the choice that you make.
Love is conditional, but it's except when we're talking about a mother's love for her child. That's not conditional. But other than that, love is conditional, and that's a thing a lot of people have a problem with. So they're like, I got married, or this girl's my girlfriend, so I don't have to work for it anymore. I don't have to take her on dates anymore. I don't have to stay in shape anymore. I don't have to keep killing myself at work to get a better job, to provide a better family for me and my children so they can go to whatever college they want. I don't have to do that anymore. She said those words at our wedding, and she's never going to leave me now. 70% of divorces are initiated by women. So that's the situation. Like, we have to understand. So what is the thing I'm describing? I'm describing the work that goes into monogamy. Think about a pro bodybuilder. Pro bodybuilders, we all know it's not a secret. They're all taking steroids. So they're taking steroids. They're eating tons of food. They're taking steroids. They're training several days a week. They're doing things that give them a super physiological level of mass. We agree on that, right? But what happens if they stopped working out for a year and didn't eat as much? They would lose that mass. That's what monogamy.
But what's interesting is, and this is just me being a romantic, when I hear people talk about the work that's involved, my mind goes to like communication or patience. But
that is work as well. But like, consider this, Jessica. Oh, let's just say all of a sudden you're on a fucking, you're doing a show for Barstool, and at the same time they got you on Fox News debating Skip Bayless, and you're making $4 million a year, and you're part, like, all of a sudden.
Is that the trajectory you have for my career?
I don't know where it is yet. I don't know where it is. I think you'll be the GM of an NBA team or something.
Okay, that works.
Manager of baseball. whatever your trajectory is. Let's say you level up to a point. Do you know when people make more money, they put up with less shit? When girls have a glow up and all of a sudden they get more attraction from men, they put up with less shit. And when men make more money, they put up with less shit. You have two partners. What if one of the partners becomes excessively a higher status than the other? What happens? That often leads to a breakup. Normally, though, one of the biggest indicators for people to get divorced is when a woman starts making more money than men. And what it really means is not that, like, she got promoted in her job. What it means is the man lost his job and the woman continued to be the breadwinner. And at some point, often that is a massive precipitator of divorce. So, like, but anyway, going back to the main point, what is that? That's work that I have to do to maintain.
Yeah.
Since me being a bodybuilder is not a normal state for humans, if I stop working out, I stop looking like a bodybuilder. And with monogamy, if I have two partners and they're not both working together to make the monogamy work, because monogamy is not the natural state for human beings. Again, in certain Middle Eastern countries, they stone women for adultery. Do they have laws where they stone you for not eating? Do they have laws where they stone you for not eating sweets? Do they have laws where they stone you for not going to the bathroom?
Sometimes wish that's the only kind of discipline I could ever have when it comes to dieting, but no.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, those countries don't stone people for doing things that are natural, right?
Yeah.
Like, if monogamy was the natural state, you wouldn't have to stone people for not being monogamous. You wouldn't have to do anything because everyone would be monogamous. The reason why you have to stone women because they've cheated, which by the way, of course, is a horrible thing, but why would you do that? It's because it's not the natural state.
Yeah.
That's the reason why. That's the reason why men who cheat on their wives in the military are subject to court martial. You have to have rules in place because people are breaking those rules. You don't have rules. There's no rules in place that you have to breathe a certain amount of breaths per hour because biology dictates that to us. It's not something you had to pass a law to do, right? There's like, I find the color orange attractive. There's no law that says I can or can't. We don't need laws for that, but we do need laws for monogamy. Why is that? Why would we need laws for something that is natural? The reason why we need laws for it is because it's not natural.
That's so interesting. And you know, we know the divorce rate 56%, but you can go into depths about that because some people have the actual balls to get the divorce. That doesn't mean that all the other marriages, the leftovers, are successful.
So it doesn't mean they're successful. That's great. You should reach out to James Sexton. He's a divorce attorney. He's great. He's going on Joe Rogan this week.
I'm obsessed with him. I love his chat.
So James Sexton?
Yeah.
Yeah. So James and I, we text every once in a while and I'll ask him for stats. So
Let him know I'm a big fan. I'm a huge fan. Yeah.
For sure. The divorce rate for first marriage is 52%. Second marriage, I want to say is 63, something like that. Divorce rate for third marriage is like 73%. And if you average that all out, it ends up being 56%. So he's talking about, okay, so what about the 44% of people that don't get divorced? And he's like, about half of them are unhappy as well. About half of them are unhappy as well. So it's a really difficult situation. And again, is it because divorce is bad? No. Is it because marriage is bad? No, marriage is a great institution because it provides for stability in a family and it provides for a two-parent household for children. So in that case, it is a fucking terrific thing that we have marriage. The issue with marriage is it's not updated to 2024. It doesn't have adaptations and software update to match the fact that your beautiful wife that you just married, who's 22, also has a ton of fucking options on social media.
Yeah, no, and that's interesting because the rule book wasn't prepared for the Instagram of the world.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And I heard, because I was listening to James Sexton earlier, I love his chats, and he said like people have more avenues to end marriages because well, they're not disincentivized to not do so, and there's very little stigma to not do so. And even if you're Catholic, I mean, you're not going to get excommunicated from the church if you get divorced. If you're Methodist or Protestant, if you're if you're Baptist, like they just accept divorce. So there's not a lot of reason for you to not get out of a relationship. In addition to alimony payments and things like that. And so people are not incentivized to stay in relationships. I'm not saying it's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm just saying that it's the truth. And because of that, marriage becomes an antiquated idea, even though it's a good idea with a really good purpose behind it. It becomes antiquated because it's not up to date for modernity.